Hi guys, welcome to class. Today we're working on the oh so important feet and ankles. Right? The connection point of our body to the ground and what helps us really support our body in gravity day in and day out. For class today, I do recommend having 2 blocks handy if you know you're pretty tight in the back line of your legs. And when you're ready, just come to a stand in the middle of your mat. And very intentionally step your right foot forward, rolling from heel through arch and having the toes land with space between each one of your toes. Root down through your foot and engage your whole leg line. Find your foundational core by lifting your spine out of your pelvic bowl. Step your left foot back so just your toes are touching the ground. This will put most of your weight on your right foot that is grounding down through all 4 corners. And then we keep our knee of our right leg stacked over the ankle as we slowly squat down. When you feel your heel start to lift up off the ground, that's your range, and then you lift yourself back up. Exhale, lower the hips down. Load your right leg, and with the strength of your quad and glutes, lift your torso up in a straight line. Keep moving through this motion. Flossing the back connective tissue line of our right leg that connects the base part of our toes through the soles of the feet, heel, calf, hamstring, sacrum, hip region, up through our spine. Alright, if you feel like the flossing of the back line is starting to open up the connective tissue, go ahead and increase the range of this squat. Bring your hands down to the ground as you lower. Load into the front leg. Engage your standing leg. Engage your core and lift yourself up with strength. The next time you lift up and with control gently land the left foot down, heel first, then arch, and then spreading the toes wide, grounding down through your foot, just doing the same thing on the opposite side. Right foot steps back, just the toes on the ground, and then we're slowly squatting down, making sure our left knee stays in line with our front ankle, sinking the hips back and then down to find engagement through our glute region, our butt muscles, and stability through the lifting of our pelvis, engagement of our core, and strengthening of our quads, those thigh muscles, to keep our knees happy. Going as fast, as slow as you need, letting the breath carry the motion. For most people, we need to go slower than we actually think to find proper activation and alignment through ankle, knee, and hip. As you exhale and lower yourself all the way down. Bring your hands on blocks or touching the ground. Right, the back leg has little to no weight. It's just there for balance and support. You find stability through your mid-region. Engage your core and lift yourself up with strength. Keep moving through this motion. Having strong and mobile ankles is extremely important for postural balance. On the next big inhale, load yourself up, bring the right leg forward and then down to meet the left. Inhale, arms up over your head. Side body stretch to the left and to the right at your own pace. And then cactus your arms, spread your chest wide on a next big inhale. Exhale, come back to standing. Step your left foot back behind you. Load into the back heel of your foot. Bend the back knee as needed to find the isolation of the stretch through the lower leg, through the calf. And then we floss this region. We floss the denseness, connective tissue that lives in the soles of our feet, through the heel, up through the calf, by simply bending the back knee and leaning back into our hips. You're finding full awareness on each corner of your feet. Good, last one. Load the back leg. Lift your left arm up and towards the right, encouraging the spine to move out of the hip bowl. Good, and then inhale. Left foot meets right, and we switch sides. Right foot steps behind you. Full heel pressing down. Load the back heel by bending the knee as needed to find an isolation of the stretch happening through the calf muscle. If our knee wants to wobble in or out in this position, just don't bend as deeply into the knee. You may have some tightness on one side of the ankle that's preventing you to find even weight distribution on each side of our calf muscle. Go slow. A lot of times less is more. Keep flossing through the bending of the knee to load and then slowly open up the tissue. Right, core is engaged, so we're lifting through our pelvis, protecting our lower back. The movement is happening through the knee with our hips stacking over our back ankle. This last round, load into the back ankle. Extend the right arm up and then to the side. Good. Exhale, let it go. Walk yourself to the back part of the mat. Forward fold. Bring lots of space into the feet, almost to the edge of the mat. And bend your knees here as much as you need to really let the upper body feel heavy and lean down between the legs. So our sits bones, the bony part of our booty, is really what's lifting up, moving into the hamstring space, so the tightness on the back of our knees up to the hips. Good, and then walk your feet in a couple inches. Same thing, let the body go, flare the tailbone high, stretching out the hamstrings at a different angle, different aspect of the hips. Big inhale. Big exhale. Good, one more aspect. Bring the feet to touch in the center line. If this feels constricting on the belly, bring those blocks closer to you. You can still encourage the head to move down, but giving yourself some space between belly and thighs is really important to breathe deeply into. Good, and then of these three positionings of our feet, find the one that was the most uncomfortable. We're going to fascially floss that line out. So you root down through your feet. Bend your knees, flatten your back, lower your hips down. Exhale, straighten the legs, lower the head down. Encourage the booty to lift up. Go through that a few more times. Notice if you feel any change of mobility through this fascial line. Good. Exhale, let it all go. Forward fold, shake out the head, let go of the concentration. Inhale, halfway lift, straighten the spine, crown of head's moving away from sacrum. Then grab your blocks if you need them and you're tight in your hamstrings. Bring your hands down to the mat and slowly bring the left foot a few inches forward. Then the right. Gentle crawling, bear crawling yourself forward to the front of your mat. The goal here is to have straight-ish legs. We're finding the lift happening through the activation of our hips, lifting heel up, stepping it forward with hip flexor strength, and lowering it back down. Good. Once you get to the top of the mat, inhale, arms up over your head, side body bend to the left and to the right. Next big inhale, cactusy arms, open the chest. Exhale, fold yourself forward. Forward fold. Bring your hands down to the blocks or the mat. Bear walk yourself back to the back part of your mat. Slowly walking, moving each foot a few inches at a time. Yeah, this is not easy. Have some grace with yourself. Good. When you're at the back of the mat, inhale, arms up over your head. Exhale, come to standing. All right. We're going to do a slow motion step. Lift your right leg up and slowly step it forward with the heel landing first, then the arch, then the toes. Load through this right leg and gently lift your left leg up. Open your hip and have your left foot land somewhere on the inside of your right leg. Tree pose. Alright, and this is our big hold for class. We're holding this pose for 3 minutes. Yes, this may seem like a simple pose, but we are really focusing on strengthening those small stabilizing muscles that run 360 around the ankle joint. So if this pose is a no-brainer for you, the way to make it challenging is to close your eyes. We're playing with balance and stability. Your attention and focus is rooted down into the standing foot. We're working on finding equal weight between toes or the toe ball mound of our foot and our heel. And then we are lifting like crazy through the arch of our foot to create that tension-like stability that we utilize day in and day out when we take each step. That tensile strength through the different arches of our feet that give us that nice bounce and spring with each step we take. Alright, as we land here, falling out should be expected. I'm asking you to close your eyes while you stand on one foot and put your hips in a very open position. That is not a normal position for the body to live in and should be challenging in different aspects. So have some play with yourself. Don't get annoyed if you fall out and you can't get back in. Really helpful way to find more balance is to work on slowing the breath down, allowing the focus of our brain to land more in the body and less in the mind. As we work on our proprioception, we're able to find more stability by slowing down our heart rate, deepening our breath, finding stability through our core region and standing leg. Big inhale. Big exhale. Good. Let it go. Shake up the leg. And then come to standing and do that exaggerated slow motion step forward with the left foot. Rolling through the foot so heel strikes first, rolling through the arches, landing with good webbing between each one of our toes. That right hip externally rotates and finds a space to land on the standing leg, either ankle, calf, or thigh, really intentionally avoiding the knee space. And we find equal weight between toes and heels of the left foot. We're stacking our hip on top of our knee, on top of our ankle, to find some bone stacking of our standing leg, which allows us to have the proper tension sling between front line of our body, back line of the body, and both sides of our legs. Right, engage the core here to find neutrality in our pelvic bowl. Attempting to correct any anterior or posterior pelvic tilt that we know lives in our hips. So we lift out of our hip bowl, crown of head's going long, belly button's coming closer to spine. That rooted stability will allow us close our eyes, find some wiggle in our ankles, but we remain standing. Slow down the breath, soften the gaze, relax the tension in the face. You can bring one hand to the heart and belly if that external contact helps you find stability and helps you open your breath pattern. Big breath in. And exhale. Shake it out. Let it go. Literally shake each leg out. And then come to standing at the front of your mat. Big inhale, arms up over your head. Side body bend to the left and to the right. On your next inhale, cactus the arms, open up the chest, let the chin lift. Good, and then dive your body down, forward fold, and then come to a nice sitting position. And then come to a comfortable seat. We're going to do some manual work on our feet to really help increase the mobility of the toes and the arches of the feet. Okay, for this first one, it might be a little uncomfortable if you've never done this before, but what we're trying to do is getting each one of our fingers between each one of our toes. And we're starting with our hand coming from above, so we're working with the top part of our foot. Right, and if your fingers don't go all the way down to the base joint, no worries. Get your fingers between your toes and just start to move your fingers around, trying to increase the comfortability of spreading the toes wide. Big breaths in and out through the nose if this is crazy uncomfortable in the body. Good, and then switch sides. So this time we're approaching the toes from the soles of our feet. Same thing, put each one of our fingers between the toes. Move the toes around as you can. Big breath in, big breath out. Right, mobility through the toes really helps with finding activation and therefore more stability through our ankle joint. Good. Switch feet. First, we're approaching, putting our fingers between our toes from the top part of our foot. Once you get your fingers in there, wiggle the toes around. Take a nice deep breath if the sensations are more intense than you're used to. And then approach this from the bottom part of your foot. So fingers are coming up through the soles of your foot, coming between your toes, and then wiggling the toes around. When we wear shoes most of the time, which is very necessary for the world that we live in, it really can kind of confine our toes into a smaller toe bed. So intentionally creating space between each of our toes will allow us to find better balance through our foot space, which can translate into the upper joints of our body, knees, hips, spine, which will allow us to land better in gravity when we have full mobility and activation of our toes through our heels. Big inhale. Exhale, let it go. Bring your legs into a butterfly position. Encourage your soles of feet to lift more up. If you need to pillow or block underneath your ankles to do so, go ahead. Just intuitively start working on the arches of your feet. Giving some self-love to the dense connective tissue that is the base part of our feet. Learning to increase our ability to sense our felt sense, the soles of our feet. Alright, I'm going to end the class here. You're welcome to do whatever you need these next 10 minutes that I'll keep the video running. Maybe work on your PT exercises or work on a nice grounding meditation for yourself. Hope this landed, and I'll see you next time.